I'm not going to talk about basketball. Nothing's happened with our team in the last 6 hours. We're going to start the same way tonight. Any basketball questions don't matter. Since we left shoot-around, 14 children were killed 400 miles from here, and a teacher. And in the last 10 days, we've had elderly black people killed in a supermarket in Buffalo. We've had Asian churchgoers killed in Southern California. And now we have children murdered at school. When are we going to do something? I'm tired. I'm so tired of getting up here and offering condolences to the devastated families that are out there. I'm so tired of I'm tired of the moments of silence. Enough.
Steve Kerr, their head coach of the Golden State Warriors. They're in the Western Conference Finals right now, so he has a pretty big platform. It's pregame. They're usually going to ask him questions about the game and what's going to go down, but he wanted to talk about what's actually happening in the country instead. So many people were upset about the fact that he pointed out that this is continuing to happen, and he's just a basketball coach, and maybe he shouldn't talk about it. He's not really an American. He's not affected, doesn't have children, doesn't know any folks who have kids, and somehow should be completely detached and a robot when it comes to this type of stuff. He went on to ask for the Senate to pass sensible gun laws, and he specifically pointed out Mitch McConnell, I believe. Let's watch more.
There's 50 senators right now who refuse to vote on H.R. 8, which is a background check rule that the House passed a couple of years ago. It's been sitting there for 2 years. And there's a reason they won't vote on it, to hold on to power. So I ask you, Mitch McConnell, I ask all of you senators who refuse to do anything about the violence and school shootings and supermarket shootings, I ask you, are you going to put your own desire for power ahead of the lives of our children and our elderly and our churchgoers? Because that's what it looks like. It's what we do every week. So I'm fed up. I've had enough. We're going to play the game tonight, but I want every person here, every person listening to this to think about your own child or grandchild or mother or father or sister, brother. How would you feel if this happened to you today?
It seems like such a simple thing to say, Francesca. Hey, think about whether or not this can happen to you. And there's been studies about this. There's people who detach themselves from these types of back and forth or policy changes because it hasn't happened to them. And many times, the ones who can't find any empathy or connection to another human being are the ones that are agreeing with the Mitch McConnells of the world. I heard Marco Rubio this morning talking nonsense. And many of these Republican politicians are like, whatever, and let's keep it real. The Democratic politicians are like, this is great to campaign off of. Hey, if you want to change it, go vote in November. If you give me that line, I don't want to hear it, bro. We voted last November and the 2 Novembers before that and the 4 Novembers before that and the 2 before that hasn't changed. So what is it you've done in the times we voted you in?
No, well, no, absolutely. And you know, that's sticking extra hard with me today as Henry Cuellar may eke out a win against Jessica Cisneros in Texas. Cuellar has an A rating from the NRA. All right, these are the Democrats that they're lifting up, to say nothing of the fact that he's anti-choice, right? To say nothing of the fact that he's fine with more and more women dying from whatever, back alley abortions, et cetera. So it just spare me. I mean, it's so disgusting how inept we are. And look, I love when like someone like Steve Kerr, who like makes fine money, he is also a powerful white dude, but his money isn't soaked in blood. And so it's really interesting to see the difference when you got blood money versus when you got, basketball money. It's a little different what the kinds of things that you're able to say and what you are saying. Because again, all the people he's calling out, they all know. And Jayar, I'm sorry, here's the question for me. Background checks are not gonna stop mass shootings. They just won't, 100%. Right? But Republicans are even against those. Why? Because they would take guns out of the hands of this many people, this many domestic abusers, potentially people who have been on a watch list, people who have been like on the FBI, like who whatever, like small percentage mentally ill people. People have a record, a minimal. They love criminalizing people, but no. It's totally fine. Because if you're gonna go out and spray a bunch of children with AR-15 bullets, that's great. No, please, more, anything. That's fine.
Gun is an extra dollar, and that's what the bottom line is. And they want to stay in power. No, we've connected to this whole with Steve Kerr. If he fails as a basketball coach, he gets fired, and he doesn't get paid anymore by that organization. If you fail as a politician, they actually been paid by your lords, which are these lobbyists. In this particular case, the gun lobby, because there's others, but in particular case, the gun lobby is here. You lose your job because they stop paying you. And if you can't get paid to campaign and get the biggest coffers that you can to put yourself out there and have your name recognition and run your ads and have this staff, professional staff that says and does things perfectly and correctly, then you don't get back into office, or you don't get in office in the first place. These are gatekeepers. So they know once they're in, they need to stay in and continue to do nothing. This is our political system. So when you say that we're talking about making sure we don't murder more kids is political, it's only political when politicians get involved and stop legislating. That's the problem.